Hey everybody, Sean from Movie Assault here, and it's time once again for another movie review. This week I wanted to take a look at one half of the movies in this set, which would be this movie, FX, starring Bryan Brown and Brian Dennehy. Also stars Cliff DeYoung, Mason Adams, and Jerry Orbach, to name a few. Kind of set the stage for this one. Back in the 1980s, if you were a hardcore horror fan or just a fan of the horror genre or science fiction, you were probably also a fan of one of the many practical effects wizards who made it all possible. They created the creepy, the gory, the weird effects. Um, and this was all before CGI, so if somebody's head had to explode on screen, or somebody's throat needed slit, or an arm needed amputated, that stuff was all built, and they usually did it out of latex, rubber, and plaster, and then they had to destroy it. Um, so FX sort of capitalized on the capabilities of effects artists by posing the question, what if the government called one and hired them to fake somebody's death? Bryan Brown plays the special effects guy in question. His name is Raleigh Taylor, and he's approached by Lipton, who's played by Cliff DeYoung, to help them put a mafia kingpin into the witness protection program. But to do that, they have to kill him in public. So they use squibs and a gun with blanks, and Raleigh makes it look like Nick DeFranco, who's this mafia boss, played by Jerry Orbach, is gunned down. And when it's convenient, DeFranco can reappear and testify against his mob people. But as in any good conspiracy thriller, something goes awry. Roland ends up having to use his special skills for more than just a fake hit. He also needs to keep himself alive until he can either get away or get out from underneath this accusation, or find some way to set the record straight that he did not kill anybody. Brian Dennehy plays Leo McCarthy, who is a police investigator who is interested in the Nick DeFranco case. He gets kind of tied up, and he starts tied up in the case, rather, and he starts to unravel it from a different perspective than everybody else is going at it. And his intuition tells him that things aren't as they appear to be. So following his intuition might put him at odds with his boss. So there's a little bit of there's two stories basically going on. I don't know. I thought this was really, I had seen this before. I saw this back in probably 87, 86, shortly after it came out. And I saw FX2, the sequel, when it came out, and I haven't seen it since. So this is a first rewatch of FX for me in a really long time. And I remember I had fond memories of it being really fun, really interesting. And it's a fun action thriller, but it was made in the 80s, and it's really typical of stuff that was made in the 80s, the action fare that was made back then. There's a lot of humor in it, and that immediately saves the film, and I'll explain, because a lot of the stuff that this movie asks you to believe is just kind of ridiculous. It's not very plausible. Even when I saw it the first time, I'm like, if you think about that for too long, that doesn't make any sense. But the movie script, with its humor and the great performances from Brian Dennehy and Bryan Brown and everybody else that's involved, the movie kind of politely asks you to turn your brain off and not really worry about it, just go along for the ride. And if you do that, it's really a lot of fun. It might not have aged as gracefully as some 80s films, because some of the special effects that were cutting edge at the time, I guess, I don't really remember me thinking they were crazy great, but they haven't aged all that well. They look kind of quaint by today's standards, but the performances from the two Bryans make the movie worth seeing. And one thing I really enjoyed about the movie is that it took its time to develop the characters. You learn a lot about Raleigh, the special effects guy, and his partnership with this girl, Andy. And, they sort of have this back and forth camaraderie. You learn a lot about Brian Dennehy, his character, and how his back and forth with his coworkers. So you get to a sense of their personalities. And I think that buys the film a lot of leeway too, in terms of the likability of the two leads, and you being able to kind of take your uh, turn your sense of disbelief off. So without spoiling too much of it and not trying to be as vague, but this is if you're looking for an action movie that has a bit of a twist, kind of plot-wise and character-wise, FX is worth a look. And it also reminds you how much movie making has changed since the 80s, in more ways than one. And that's, if you're interested in movie making, this is obviously not a documentary about special effects or movie making, but just you can sort of see how things were different behind the scenes a little bit. And mostly the way the special effects were done prior to CGI. So it's pretty interesting. It's pretty good. Basically, if you like the two leads, you're going to love the movie. If you have a sense of humor, you should love the movie. But yeah, definitely turn your brain off before sitting down to watch it, because a lot of it is like, wait, if you think about that for too long, I don't think so. But I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I'm going to rewatch FX2 at some point as well. I remember not liking that one as much as the first one, but it's still worth a rewatch. Ah. Sorry, I'm having trouble speaking this early in the morning. Well, that's it. That's my review of FX from 1986. I gave it a 7 out of 10. As always, thank you for making it to the end of the video. I appreciate your attention span. Next week, I've got 3 sort of unconventional Christmas movies that I'd like you to vote on. 2 of them I've seen and haven't seen in a while, and 1 I have not seen at all. So it'll be fun to see which one you pick. So check the community post or the community tab on my channel, or look at the posts that I've posted, and you can find the poll and vote on the next movie I watch for next Sunday. So there you go. That's about it from this side of the camera. So I will let you guys go. Take it easy.